Good morning, America. This is Georgie Tile from World History News Network, and today is October 28, 1962. And we are in a crisis due to Russia's decision to move nukes to Cuba, which enables these nukes to attack America. And now with information regarding the reaction of the American president to Russia's actions, we turn to our news reporter, Spencer.
Thank you, Georgie. The situation here in America today is truly a grievous one with the death of Major Anderson. In my interview with John F. Kennedy, we discussed exactly what happened. Good morning, Mr. President. Such an honor to be here. I believe the whole nation would love to hear your input on the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It weighs heavily upon my consciousness with the recent loss of a brave pilot, one Major Anderson, who had served valiantly in the Korean War, who was shot down during a maintenance flight that was crucial to this nation.
That truly is some gut-wrenching news. Do you think that Russia is trying to intimidate us with such a tactic?
Perhaps they are. Russia has changed the terms of peace to be even tighter. The changes from the former treaties being that the U.S. had the promise to not invade or interfere with Cuba once the nuclear devices are withdrawn. Furthermore, our Jupiter missiles stationed in Turkey must be withdrawn as well. I am going to convene with Ambassador Anatoly Dobrynin to discuss the basic terms of peace with Russia at a later time.
Certainly not every member of the U.S. government is reacting to the killing of Major Anderson as you choose to. How are they handling this situation?
The Executive Committee desires immediate military action to be taken on Russia's surface-to-air missiles after they were used to shoot down Major Anderson. Additionally, despite my urgings that the Jupiter missiles in Turkey need to be removed to gain peace with Russia, the Executive Committee has decided to station Air Force and carrier squadrons with our Jupiter missiles in case of an invasion, so that immediate military action can be taken.
I only have one final question for you, Mr. President. What do you think of this entire dilemma?
I find it insane that two men sitting on opposite sides of the world should be able to decide to bring an end to all civilization.
Thank you for your time, Mr. President.
Thank you, and God bless.
Clearly, the President and almost every other person in the world is driven to madness by this crisis facing our nations today. Back to you, Georgie.
Now with more information regarding this crisis from the Russian standpoint, we turn to our news reporter in Russia, Javier. Hey there, Javier. Tell us how your interview with Khrushchev went, and let us know the reasoning behind his actions during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Thanks, Georgie. It's really cold out here. It's an estimate about 10 degrees Celsius. I just finished an interview with Nikita Khrushchev, and he says he was justified in deploying those missiles in Cuba.
Tell me, President Khrushchev, could you elaborate on your reasoning behind the transportation of the nuclear bombs to the country of Cuba?
My actions were completely justified, as President John F. Kennedy also transported nuclear bombs to Turkey and Great Britain. So why couldn't I do it in Cuba? Furthermore, we were justified to do this because we wanted to ensure that we had the exact same abilities as the USA, which is to damage the nation via nuclear missiles, as nuclear missiles from Turkey could easily reach Russia, and nuclear missiles in Cuba could be used to protect Cuba from the United States of America.
How did you react on the naval blockade of Cuba by the U.S.?
Kennedy interfered with Russo-Cuban affairs by blockading Cuba. Our interaction with Cuba did not require his approval. This action taken by the U.S. was an act of aggression which pushed mankind toward the abyss of a world nuclear war, as it caused tensions between Russia and the USA to rise. This rise of tension and my fear of the very possible mutually assured destruction of the entire world is a reason why I sent my pleading letter to President John F. Kennedy to reject the United States ultimatum.
Which actions taken by Russia helped avoid nuclear war?
Many actions were taken in order to avoid nuclear war, even before he sent that letter on the 24th of October, as seen by the fact that I had ordered that the ships with the missiles be removed. After John F. Kennedy sent that letter, we agreed to stop our operation in exchange for the United States of America to cease their actions against Russo-Cuban affairs. Also, we needed the U.S. to agree to not invade Cuba. Our ability to make peace with each other came as a result of the removal of nukes from both Cuba and Turkey to a place where these nukes would no longer be able to be launched at either country. As we did not carry any offensive operations any further, we were able to avoid nuclear war.
Mr. President, thank you for this interview.
Thank you.
Thanks to the efforts of President Khrushchev, the Cuban Missile Crisis ended quickly, and this Cold War may cease more swiftly than we may think. Back to you, Georgie.
Now, with these superpowers determining the fate of the world, we are receiving information regarding the perspective of Fidel Castro, the current dictator of Cuba. We are our third news reporter, James. Hey James, could you please tell us about Castro's justification for the manner by which he behaved during this crisis? Hello Georgie, the Cuban dictator Fidel Castro and I just had an interview in which he emphasized certain justifications for the manner by which he responded to the actions of the US and Russia. I will now present to you a small clip of my interview. Good morning, Mr. Castro. I would like to know, why do you want to have nukes in Cuba?
I wanted to have nukes in Cuba so that my country and I would be treated fairly in global negotiations, so that I would be able to maintain power over Cuba. I also wanted to deter any future invasion attempts by the United States into Cuba. However, many misinterpret this operation as a threat against the U.S. as an attempt to be offensive. On the contrary, Khrushchev and I agreed on this operation to keep Cuba on the defensive.
How did you react to the blockade of Cuba by the U.S.?
As this blockade was a threat to me and my country, I reacted to it by sending out commands for general military mobilization and declared war alert throughout Cuba.
I see. Now, as a final question, I would like to know, what actions did you take in order to end the problems that led to this Cuban Missile Crisis?
I took multiple actions to end the problems that led to the crisis. These actions are my 5-point plan to end these problems. This plan included the cessation of all commercial and economic pressure by the U.S. against Cuba, an end to all subversive activities carried out against the Castro regime from the territory of the U.S. and other accomplice territories, the cessation of all pirate attacks on Cuba, an end to U.S. aircraft and ships violating of the Cuban airspace and naval space uninvited, and the evacuation of the U.S. naval base at Guantanamo.
Castro is clearly anxious to end this crisis and is pursuing any way to do so. Tomorrow, another interview with Castro will take place. That's all I can say for now. Thank you, Georgie. Clearly, as of now, we are confidently able to say that due to the efforts of these three leaders, this crisis has been resolved on today, October 28, 1962. Now signing off, Georgie Tile.
Mr. President, thank you for this interview.
Discuss.
No, wait until
You
he's
said move when he...
No, move when he's still
Like,
not.
yeah. So like,
Move when he's not over
I'll
here.
be over here, and then I'll be like, and then you do. Then you say it.
Okay, so